Wow, that's nice. Whoopsie. Let's see how much I lag. Probably like fucking ass. Oh, what? Now what the fuck is going on? The stream okay? Is it working? It's a good idea. It's pretty gorilla, but... Whoops, there's a 0 there. Anyways. I think that is working. Or maybe not. Oh yeah, it definitely does work. You're watching the boss work. Very nice, most likely. You might be questioning how the fuck did we get here? Well, it's a long story. I want to explain it later if anyone does care, but basically I am so fucking horridly behind in content that I literally just gave up. Didn't give up. I just don't think that, especially now that another season of well, school is introduced. Well, I don't know how much time will I have for even editing videos, and even without school I had a fucking terrible experience with everything. I have no idea why. Maybe it's just that I am a fucking lazy ass idiot. That's just how it is, how it happened, and that's how it ended, basically, after all. So I decided that if things decide that they want to work and everything wants to work, basically, then I'm gonna do some of these terrible quality streams just so I can show to people that yes, I indeed exist. I am alive and I am not dead. Also, I am incredibly bored, and these streams will not be constant, but I will try to be as constant as I can. If like nobody shows up, there's nothing I have to do, I'm probably gonna just hit up a stream with whatever. Maybe there will be Stormberg streams or something that there really should not be streams of, but I do plan on having more of a footprint on the internet, because lately I am pretty much been thinking that I really should put myself down to it. It's like something I do, it's a secondary thing. However, what I didn't think about is how it will go, and especially the most important thing is that I am terrible at video editing, and I never seem to be able to put up a little bit of time for myself to actually start making content. I am planning on a big content drop, but that needs so much fucking work that I think that by the time it's gonna be done, there will be no point of actually be making it, and that will be a bunch of videos that I want to upload at the same time. Basically, not like I don't want to drop a 5-hour long video. I want to drop small videos, but I don't want to leave people with an unfinished guide, because that's what the project is. Don't ask me about it, because I am terrible at actually making the thing work. The thing is, it wants to be a very long and very detailed tutorial series for people who literally just downloaded War Thunder, or even people who just thought about playing this game, and I don't want to the demon that everybody seems to be. You fucking total it, you run the fuck away. No, I want to actually give good advice to new players that would actually help them to develop a more healthy mindset towards the game, and not the you need to get to top tier. You know, fucking NASCAR race. And that's the only thing that actually worth it. I am not I don't have, like, I didn't grind out everything in the game, but that's why it takes so long. And not because I have to grind out everything for the game, but I am gathering information, and I'm also gathering my time to actually be able to not put out a piece of shit. Because this really is a fine I do it myself type of moment, but it has to be done. And if no one actually wants to put out all of it, then I will. Or maybe not. But I am working on it. I will be killed the next 3 seconds, I guess. Yep. I'm gonna need some backup, but there is no such thing as backup.
Target hit! We've been hit! Left track damage.
Got that one. And we're going forward. So I can see the chat right now. Who's watching, so point doesn't exist anymore. As long as one is in the chat, I'm gonna keep it on English. If someone gets on the chat, it's a free real estate. I speak 2 languages. No, I don't. I'm not going to do that. Fuck yourself.
Artillery strike incoming! We've been hit! Target destroyed! Armor piercing! Loading!
I could use the squad more marker, but I guess that worked out anyway.
We've been hit!
That's not good at all, and that's even fucking worse. Oh, fuck. I don't care about YouTube's dumb things like, oh no, bloody swearing. Oh hey, hello, there is someone. Oh hey, thanks for being here. I didn't actually saw you in the chat, but I am glad someone actually did appear here. That's nice. Didn't think about it, but should be playing World of Tanks bits. Oh hello. People are actually in the chat. I did not expect that to happen on the first stream, but thanks for being here. I would like to converse if there's any way about this. I'm just playing some nice casual games of War Thunder in 7.7 written. I don't think I ever heard someone say that line ever in my War Thunder career. I just never, ever. Oh, thanks. Thanks, man. But that's what I was wanting to say is that people don't play for, like, nobody plays Britain at all, and that's sad. And I am feeling so lonely that I am the only person who plays this. Honestly, pretty nice stat tree, I really like it, but you can see why people don't. And it's valid. I just I'm really thinking about showing a little bit of my experience in this game, and also that I can't really put out much content in a regular basis. I decided that if my PC decides that they will want to do it, then I will stream a bit. I don't want to plan on doing some insanely high quality big streams. I want to keep these streams fun, and especially more oriented towards gameplay. Oh, hello. I mean, I don't think I can say that after getting experience in this tech tree in general, I think it is really pleasant all throughout the tech tree, especially in the World War II part. The Firefly is absolutely insane. I have said it a lot of times, but the Firefly is basically completely broken. It's, well, not really. I don't want it to be changed, but I do really enjoy that tank, even in a very fucking insane update. Sometimes I played with the Centurion Mark 1 and I'm at like a 7.3 or 6.3 up tier, or even a 7.0 up tier. That's when it gets really bad, but if it's not, then it perfectly does its work, and then it's at fucking 4.7. And Gaijin said that it's nice at 4.7, although the thing was designed to kill like the... Yeah, the air tree, exactly, they are going for the air tree. That's something really weird, and even then only for the Spitfires. I don't think that it's really that... Not even for the Griffon Spitfires, which is also something that is my heart's pain, because I do feel like the Griffons are just better than the Merlins. Even the Mark 9 is just overrated because... Hello? Hello? The Mark 9 is just absolutely overrated because it has a high climb rate and turn rate. Yeah, the boom stick. I mean, that's fair. I also have that thing in my lineup right now. It's really fun. I'm gonna die. Not planning on it, but maybe I will. Oops. Yeah, that was a nice toss, in my opinion, at least. This is what experience gets you. The FV4002 Phase 2 is a fun vehicle, and I can't really blame people for that, but I don't think anything in the British tech tree just suffers so much that it's unplayable. Like, even the Centurions are good, but even the Challenger is good. It's not the best, of course, but I don't think that a vehicle needs to be the best to be played. The worst country, in my opinion, that's a really good question, because I have already been thinking about this a lot. But I think there is no worst country in the game. Italy's ground, currently, in my opinion, isn't the worst, because it has some good points. It has some good gameplay in it. But I think it has you have a lot of bad vehicles, and the end result is it's not the best in how much it is worth, if you understand what I'm trying to say. No, hello Tash. Nem szopok pillanatnyilag, egészen jó megy a meccs. Thing is, when it comes to the worst nation in the game, Italy certainly has a few good things, but it's, in my opinion, the nation where the negatives outweigh the positives, because you have some really good light gameplay with the Centauros. And also the Ariates also excel at being basically top tier light tanks. it's not as terrible as people say, but yes, it is the worst medium tank right now in the game. But if someone is interested in playing especially lighter vehicles with high mobility and flanking potential, I'd say that Italy is still a worth it nation. You still get the Hungarian Leopard 2A7, so if you do need something that is more conventional at the higher tiers, you do have something to rely on, and in my opinion, that is good. That is absolutely a positive thing, but I don't agree with that though. I think Germany is very playable. I do think that Germany suffers, and in a way that people don't seem to really see a problem. Germany's low tier is fine. It takes more skill than it should because it's an early. Like, this is one of the nations. Germany is one of the nations where people gravitate towards. One of the nations where a lot of players do join the game and they play Germany. They are interested in this nation, and the game immediately gives you the Panzer 3s and the Panzer 4 early with the 37mm howitzer. And this means that you need to understand concepts that might be so incredibly new to you. Not much games actually have bullet drop, and with the Panzer 4 earlies, it's insane. One of the Panzer 3s is completely unplayable, but you can just keep it right at the start because you get another Panzer 3, which is much more playable, but you have to use armor angling and you have to aim well if you want to have success with the very early tier, which is for a new player can be said to be insanely terrible. But in my opinion, the biggest problem for Germany is, like, if you get a bit of skill in the early games of the tier, you really get to understand Germany, then you will have a nice time with the early tiers. It's when you get into the mid tiers, and that's the big problem, because the mid tiers I'm talking about is the late World War II part, the most interesting part of Germany, the most beloved, the most popular part of Germany. People are like, yeah, let's play Germany. Why do I want to play Germany? For the Tiger, for the Panther, and like the King Tiger. And that's literally the worst part of Germany. By a far. If you don't get a... Oh, fuck. If you don't get a down tier, then you're in an immediate disadvantage. Like, not even a small disadvantage. You're literally down there to die. You're absolutely down there to just get completely digged by vehicles that you shouldn't even meet, because the King Tiger basically it's just the King Tiger in general, in my opinion, is working in this very weird way that the tanks you're facing are tanks that are literally made to counter you, and tanks that are made to counter what counters you. They are countering you squared, and it's not fine for the King Tiger, but I guess it is. When I would say that there is not much to do about it. I would say that they should revert the changes that were in the game for a long time, like putting them up to 6.0. 5.7 was fine for the Tigers, and like 6.3 was good for the Porsturm Königstiger, because you could, like, you get a worse turret. You are having a turret that is much easier to penetrate, but you don't have to face that much stronger enemies, and you more likely to get a lower rating in the battle. So that was fine, but then they ruined it because they had to push this one up at 6.7. No, this doesn't have any reason to exist in the game. This should be folded at this point, because the 2H is just so much better than the P. And even then, the H is not good at all. And it is such a disappointment for a lot of people, in my opinion. Plus, the mouse isn't in the game. It's only available at a few times, and the mouse is the most popular German thing. I believe in American bias, but that's a different question and a different opinion and a different type of bias than Russian bias. Russian, I don't believe in Russian bias in general. I feel like the game is just simply catered to a play style, not in tanks, but especially planes where the Russian planes are just excelling absurdly over everything else. They are just basically you have the P-47, which is an incredible fighter. It's an incredible plane even in War Thunder, but it needs altitude to work to function, and it's not a maneuverable plane. It takes setups to work, but the current War Thunder meta is to stay low and just head the fuck on, and that's when and like dogfight with turn fights, and the Soviet planes absolutely excel in this type of combat, whereas every other nation basically suffers in this type of combat. So they are basically in a position where they are in a constant advantage, even though they should not always be, which is sad. But again, there's the BF-109 that can counter them by just simply energy fighting them out. American bias is basically what I said, that literally the American nation right now in the game is the only nation that is almost complete. This one does not have any major issues, many major flaws. There is no such thing as the Germany that Germany has. Like you have not planes, tanks. Germany has another big suffering issue, that you have no light tanks in tier 3 and 4, unless you get the M41, which is at 6.7, which is already a post-war vehicle. So you can't have with the most popular uh, tanks of Germany, the Tigers and the Panthers. You can't have a light tank unless you bring in the Puma, which has no firepower in that tier, and also is only tier 2, so you are experiencing experience loss if you're using the Puma. So you're relying on your teammates, if your teammates have scouting vehicles, to have any scouting. And for first, you will say that nah, scouting is really unimportant. It's just something that's there, and it doesn't really affect gameplay. It does. Surprisingly, I also thought that until like 2 weeks ago, when I actually had a game where I was playing Britain, and I was being the Doomslayer by simply seeing everyone on the map, because we had a Ratel outside of the map, literally just spamming the V button. And everyone was visible and no one could kill us or kill me especially, but or my teammates, because like the British have the stabilizers, and I was just literally running around the map, and with stabilizer I just fired first every single time before they even had an idea that I was there. I already knew them because of the scouting. Yep, the arcade battles is another thing, but back to the American bias thing, because I want to finish with that. The United States biggest bias, in my opinion, is, let me just show this. This is just how many premium packs the United States of America gets. And that is fine, I guess, but the main issue I have is that we have the F-14A Iranian Air Force in the American Tech Tree. We have the Australian M1A1 AIM Abrams here in the United States Tech Tree. And there's plenty more times and plenty more, how do I say this, rumors when new vehicles were teased, or like they will be add this vehicle from a very for like a non-main country, and they will be put in the United States Tech Tree just because the plane was built there. And then I say that, hey, actually, if we had the M1A1 AIM as a British squadron vehicle, or premium even, that would alleviate a lot of pressure from why the British are so unplayed. Australia, we have a lot of Australian vehicles in the British tech fleet. Like, where the hell is the? Yep, no, not this one, the Bullfighter. The Bullfighter is also like, this is an Australian version of the Bullfighter. We have a nice little selection of Australian vehicles like around in Britain, but we get the M1A1 in the American tech tree because it's not built by Britain, so they are going to the US. And then there was the Canadian Leopard 2, which for some reason went to Germany. I don't even understand why it was going to Germany. There is a high amount of vehicles that could be given to other nations, such as the ADF, Tomcat, but they still decided that they were going to give it to the USA. And again, the USA currently has the top tier aircraft bias. Basically, if you're not the USA, you're coping, and that's something that's pretty much true. But okay, I will take a look at the arcade battle ratings of the ME262. Yeah. Oh, what about it? I don't see anything. RB has been pretty much been terrible because the MiG-15s and the Sabres were down and put down, and now they also suffer. But yeah, usually if something goes into the game, the Americans always result with a positive, except for the R27ER and even with the R27ER. Uh, Everyone was so fucking mad that the Russians are suddenly actually a viable nation to be played again after a long time of USA dominating. That they immediately had to give them the like back the saddle and just let them be the gods again. But you said the ME262, you don't have anything in arcade for the ME262. Well, ME264 is only at 4.3 in arcade. Yeah. Looking at them, but it might be actually good for the ME264. But why is it down there? It's dumb. Anyways, there are a lot of things that right now in War Thunder that are pretty fucking dumb. There's a lot of things that are very hard to play. Or basically, I have been, but that's completely fine. But still, the air dumbness was the arcade dumbness is still given to the A2D Sky Shark at 9.0, because who the hell decided this was a good idea? I definitely didn't. Oh, holy shit. That should not be a thing, in my opinion. Propeller plane at 9.0. Imagine that? And again, bombers are unplayable in the game unless you're literally using the Lancaster in ground battles where you only can use one spawn because you get one drop. And just landing it is... I usually do land it or try landing it, but it doesn't really worth it because it takes a lot of time, and then you need a lot of time to take back to the match, and then even if you drop the second bomb, you're most likely gonna explode with it. Except if you put the fuse to 5 hours. Which can work, but meh. It's not funny, but again, as... Also, for fuck's sake, next update we're going to get an American... the Ratel is an interesting vehicle. It's definitely If you ask me about the Ratel is an interesting vehicle from its history, but in War Thunder, it kind of lacks its own purpose because the Ratel is like the Ratel isn't particularly fast. It's a bus. It's large, but it is in a terrible battle rating. You can take it to an up tier. It's fine if you play it with the 7.3 or 7.7 crew, like the Centurion Conqueror or the FE4202. You can play with them as well, and with the bigger one, the Rattle 20. Yes, that Rattle 20, you can take them at a higher BR and still use the missiles, and use it for scouting. But in general, I think it is worth it to get because it's fun to use. But it has its own little problems, and it really isn't the type of vehicle to. Na, szevasz Balázs, le is itt vagy, ahogy látom. Az bazd meg, British. Amúgy az a vicc, hogy... well, thing is that in this VR I only bring the Sabo rounds if I meet an IS-3 or something like that, but I shouldn't. But still, most vehicles in this VR are actually lesser armored, and if I use the normal ammunition, it deals more small damage, which is actually really worth it. If something is a harder nut to crack, then that's still 8 PS, but there's really not much point of bringing so much of them when the base ammunition has already really good penetration with better sparring. So vicc az egészben amúgy az, Balázs, hogyha nem mondtam volna az előbb, hogy itt is több nézőn van, mint a levesnek. Yeah, sure. Sure. Anyone, which is a good sign, but oh god. Yep, from outside the map, that's the EBR for you. Yeah, that's the Ratal 20. Mit mondjak azt, hogy több a néző, mint a levesnél? Legalábbis megtekintések. I guess so. Oh yeah, that's Balázsnak megvan. Ja, most 3. És abból egy te vagy. Az még mindig jobb, mint a levesnél, amikor 2, és abból 3-an mi vagyunk. Igen, ennyire dagadtak vagyunk. Ja, még akár esetleg az is. De ma ugye eredetileg az volt a terv, hogy csak nyomatok egy random streamet, mert mi a fasz érne. Végül is működik a helyzet. Ó, bassza meg az anyádat. That's about the retard, like the, how do I say this? The 300mm armor of the Yaktiga. Yeah, that's how it goes when you have a half a meter of penetration, because this thing is absolutely balanced. That's kind of given to the British, and it is only right to give this kind of power to the British, because, well, what are they supposed to use? Heat FS. But that's not good. Most likely not gonna be able to make this one. This is gonna be bad. There was another person as well. Oh yeah. And the reason I don't agree with that is that would just drive off more possible vehicles from the United Kingdom. We are already having pretty much a big suffering from everyone just playing the United States because no other nation has much to offer or more to offer. So it's like, yeah, why not drive off more vehicles from the British tech tree, which could give them like even a chance at being playable, into a small tech tree that's like nobody's gonna play because let's face the fact, yeah, they have some interesting vehicles, but most of them will anyways be previous. The thing is that just Britain won't gonna be able to introduce an entire sub-tree. They just won't be able to just eat in a 2 sub-trees, entire sub-trees, but it can work if they just add these vehicles like they added the Gripen. Because that's honestly something that I really like. It's a good idea to just eat it at the end, because there's nothing else that South Africa can have. But the Gripen is there, which Britain needs to have something fast, something good. It's a win-win situation for everyone, in my opinion. That's just nice. That's just how it should be. Oh, hello. Well, I got severe pain for killing me. The Balkans lack vehicles to like this own tech tree idea is kind of driven off from the game, because sub-trees are much more worth it, especially in this kind of climate. Like everything goes to the United States, everyone plays with the United States. We need more people to be driven to other nations. But the thing is that where do we put the Balkans as a sub-tree? You really can't use them as a sub-tree, but you should, because they don't have enough vehicles to form their very own special solo solo. This is the same problem with Romania and Hungary, because I don't agree. Like Hungary would be perfect fit for Germany. They would only give a very few vehicles. Another T-72, a T-55 maybe, which are already completely fitting for the East Germany, which still lacks vehicles completely. So Hungary would have been a perfect fit. They would also get a good top-tier vehicle, but they had to give it to Italy because Italy needed more, the top-tier vehicles more, but this resulted in Italy turning into this, oh yeah, this is Italy, and then we have the Soviets, and we still didn't get actual Hungarian aircraft in the tech tree. We also have a Swedish plane. There you go, if you want to play, they also have American tanks, so Italy is in this terrible position. If that's not overkill, then nothing is. Blood got removed. That's an actually nice question. What country should get attacked? Thing is that most of the major powers in the world have already got their tech trees. What we have left are smaller countries that have less of a domestic industry and thus less domestic vehicles. Well, It's a good question because I don't have really an answer to this one. There's certainly more nations to be added into War Thunder, but what?
Watch it, Lucky.
Because you can't tell really any nation, a single solo nation out there, one, not more but one nation that just can have enough vehicles that are not completely copy-pasted to actually create a very own tech tree. And especially in this type of climate, as I said it, that everyone just wants to play the US, and nations need help. The other nations need aid. You can't really. It's like the main things that you can think about are the ones that are already in World of Tanks, the Polish and the Czech, but the Polish and the Czech both only have a very small amount of independent vehicles, and then it's all copy-paste. And even then they can't fill an entire tech tree. And like this is a big difference in between the two games, the World of Tanks and War Thunder, that you can just have a tech tree where like, oh, we only have 2 lines of vehicles, we only have like 8 tanks and 8 tank destroyers and like 8 planes. You can't have that because you need an actual full tech tree in order for them to work. Like you can't, I can't just tell you how fucking that is actually a good idea. The problem is that again the South American domestic industry is and always was really weak. Even though I am very interested in South American vehicles, especially the fact that like, yeah, Brazil had dreadnoughts, something that I never. Hell no! Hell no! What was that from me? I am ashamed of that attack, but I didn't even get a kill. Any South American countries. Brasilia is, the thing is that again, solo nation wouldn't be able to make an entire tree. If you get Brasilia and Argentina in one tree as South America, and then you put all the small other nations like Chile and Cuba and all of them as like smaller vehicle additions, you might make an entire new tech tree that can actually work somewhat. But even then you are in the problem that a lot of vehicles are copy-paste. So you're in a bad situation again. Because I said it a bit earlier that like, what is the reason to play Sweden right now in the game? What does Sweden has to offer that other nations don't offer? You can play the Gripen in Britain and Italy as well. You can but you have you have basically the Vigan, but the Vigan is already out of meta because how compressed top tier BRs are. You have the J21, which is interesting, but people don't care about mid-tier vehicles anymore. The J21 though is why I grind the Swedish and the STRV 103. The STRV 103 is the other thing that can actually be something in the game, but we are talking about you can get the STRV 103, the Stridswagen 103, and that's about it. Because what does this tech tree has to offer at top tier? Leopard 2 and a Leopard 2. Because I don't care about what people say. This is a Leopard 2. It's a modified Leopard 2. This is not a domestic vehicle, and I know that a lot of people are out there like, yeah, the STR 122 is a domestic and it's a completely different vehicle from the Leopard 2. This thing is not. This is another version of the Leopard 2. If you're interested in this in the Stridswagen 122 specifically, all the power to you. Have fun. I'm not saying that it's a bad vehicle, but don't treat it like, yeah, it's an entirely different vehicle. Yeah, AV-8B plus Harrier 2 is an entirely different vehicle from the British Harrier because it's completely American. No, it's not. That might be interesting with the African stuff. Again, we have South Africa already in the British tree, and I think that is a great thing. I would like to see more African stuff because Africa is actually one of those nations like they have militaries. It's not strong militaries, but some of their stuff are a bit more special, especially South Africa. South Africa is completely taking the cake. They have what you see in War Thunder here. It's pretty fucking cool. They really show that yeah, South Africa exists. It's an African nation. They have their own stuff. They are developed specifically for their needs, and they are cool. But other African nations are very weak. Although what I want to personally see is the Ramses, which is a modernized version of the T-55 built by Egypt. And I like the Ramses. And on the topic of India, India absolutely does not deserve its own tech tree. The India is far from like even they already have a bunch of vehicles in here in the British tech tree, and that's a great thing. They should get more vehicles in the British tech tree and the British premiums. I like the Ural tree because that's what I like to call the Bishma T90S, the Ural tree. This is an incredible addition to the British tech tree. It really gives a bit of fresh air from all the challengers. And for planes, I think the MiG-21 Bison is an absolute goof. It's basically what you get with this is literally the best clown mobile currently in the game. Also, it's the most expensive one. But if you're really looking for a premium that is just fun, like you have a lot of money to spend for nothing and you want to have fun, get this thing. It's retarded. It's great. But India in on itself, again, Trubik aircraft. I'd like to say that it's my favorite, the Tornado. The Tornado is it doesn't turn well even with the swing wings. You can energy fight people with it. I had a hard time, but I actually figured out that this thing has incredible energy fighting capabilities. The problem is that in high tier, if you try to energy fight someone, someone will take you out with a long range semi-active radar homing missile. So that is a no-go. But the biggest problem with this thing is that it likes to retain its momentum. So even if you pull up the plane's nose, it will take a bit of time before it actually starts to go upwards and not downwards. It's that's how I mainly die in this thing, or because this is not a good plane. I just think that it is fun and I like to play it because I have fun with it. But it is a true brick in the sense. Even the Phantom flies more forgivingly than the Tornado because you can at least turn if you need to. But you can't turn with the Tornado even if you need to. That's, in my opinion, the best way to put it. You can whiff with the Harriers, so their brickness is alleviated. And then there's the Harrier GR7 with the long wings, which also helps with the problem. So they lose that point. The only reason I wouldn't say that the Starfighter is a brick is because the Starfighter is just at least really fast at 9.3.
Mic off. Mic on.
Had to go out for a sec. But I'm back now, so... Well, that's sad. At least the stream goes well. It does have... it does go well. Oh, definitely! That's definitely a very, very, very fucking great addition to War Thunder. Actually, two that I have been begging for 3 fucking years since I even see this game, and you're not gonna like what I'm about to say. Because it's naval. They can add... They can definitely add aircraft carriers and submarines into the game. But they won't, because why would they? Why would they? That's gonna take a lot of resources. That's gonna take a large update, and no one's gonna be brought into a game. Because World of Warships already decided that, oh yeah, let's completely ruin it. But that's for April Fools. I'm meaning that they should add it as a permanent addition to the gameplay. But again, Naval needs a major redesign, especially for their maps and how it all spawns and starts, because this is currently a very stale game mode. But I really like Naval. But again, are they? Naval doesn't have as much problems as people say it, and I really hate when like Sea Lord Mountbatten just dropped a video that literally said, yeah, it's a dead game mode, and it tried to kill World of Warships. No, because World of Warships can't be killed, because it is an arcade ship game. It will always be more inviting to people than actually when, like, let me explain that War Thunder's naval is far better and far more realistic than whatever the fuck World of Warships is. And if I'm gonna tell that people that no, aircraft carriers are supposed to be very fucking powerful, and no, you shouldn't actually have a chance with a destroyer against the HMS Hood, because you will lose every single time. They will not like that, and they will just leave. That's not the point of War Thunder Naval. It is a more realistic experience, and I like that, and I do like the game mode in the way it is, but it is very far from being perfect or even great. It's good, but it's far from its potential. And if we're not gathering people, I like to say in that question myself, I don't hate the wargaming community at all. That'd be very far from me. I think that they also deserve, they have a different preference, and we shouldn't hate on them for that, and we should actively try to help, and we should, actively try to help. Well, World of Tanks is in a terrible position right now, and I don't like the game. Personally, I don't want to play it myself. But people do want to play the game, and I think we are doing an incredibly terrible job at for people who actually want to swap from World of Tanks to War Thunder, because they also think that World of Tanks is going downhill and is just a money-hungry mess of a game, like I think it is. And we're actively trying to literally witch hunt them out of our community. We should accept them with warm hugs and explain them how this game is different and how they can fit in a... I don't think there should be a nuke instead of an ICBM instead of a nuke. That is not fun. But we should definitely, in my opinion, what should be with the nuke is that you shouldn't be able to spawn it when you die, but instead use the arcade mechanic. If you get enough kills, then it just suddenly appears on your HUD bar. But the nuke, you can start an aerial battle with the nuke, and it will alert your team and the enemy about the nuke. That you are spawning it in, and you will spawn in with the nuke. Yeah, it's perfect for an April Fool's event. It's absolutely great. But what I say is that, well, it could be a nice thing that like it starts an aerial battle and like there will be more counterplay. I do know that there are some times where the enemy has no counterplay against the nuke, or where your team can't really do anything about the nuke. And like, yeah, Blood is taking in the nuke. And there is an enemy plane, and what can we do about that? We can beat our meat on the spawn and watch if it actually happens, and if it doesn't, then we go back to playing the match normally. That's about how I see a nuke, and the biggest problem with the nuke is the rewards. I've said it before, but right now, the biggest problem with War Thunder is the grind outside of aircraft. I think the aircraft grind is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty fair. Should not. For aircraft, for ships, nah. I don't think it's a necessary addition to put in friendly fire, especially because I think a lot of us have developed a reflex that if you don't know if it's an ally or an enemy, just shoot it. It doesn't matter if it's an ally, nothing happens, but if it's an enemy, you at least killed it and you're not fucking blind. That is something that should be, that should not be changed. I don't think there's anything good about bringing back friendly fire, especially.
Mic off. Mic on.
What happened? I don't know. Something happened and I don't know what. What the hell? Oh, I see exactly what's going on, and I don't want to see that. They are attacking from the sides. That is not a good look out for the match. But why do I think what else friendly fire in area? I don't think it's actually a good thing, because right now the community is a complete fucking batshit insane monkey pie in air battles, and it's dumb when I'm like playing the P-47 and someone wants to steal the kill so much that they fly into my guns and get themselves killed and the enemy killed, so I am not that guy getting anything out of it, but also dying. I also have to pay for their battles. It is in my opinion a terrible mechanic. In top tier I can see that it does help with the problem of missile spam, like you actually have to just think a little and you just can't fucking spam the button and then land and then spam the button and then land and then spam the button, because that's not fun and that's not right. Top tier has problems and you can't really fix them without sacrificing some realism. If you do add in limitations in top tier to make the game more fun, then it will be less realistic, and the game isn't realistic anyways. I don't see why that would be a problem. All I can really say about that is that, yeah, War Thunder has been selling themselves realistic so fucking heavily that at this one point I don't see the reason why they should change it. Or yeah, they should change it, but just ends up with this. The game isn't realistic anyways, but they fear that the reputation is going to collapse if they are like introducing something that does not benefit the realism of the game. Oh shit, there's helicopters flying actually. I don't think I'm gonna hit us anyways, but again, so helicopters. Helicopters actually. Let's talk about helicopters because I have something thoughts about these guys, the rotorcraft, and War Thunder definitely needs more rotorcraft, but they also need to somehow balance them because this isn't because they have unnecessary range. This match was completely gone. What the fuck? Down, getting more. I would like to play some naval, but not on stream because naval tends to be boring. Tends to be something that is only interesting on a more personal level. If you don't actually feel the adrenaline of fighting the ships, you're just bored watching someone clicking a button. Best nation, that's a good question. I think that there's a big three that is absolutely, in my opinion, the best in the game. Uh, uh, how do you mean best nation? Is it the most meta nation, the most effective nation, or the most fun nation? The one that is best worth grinding, because that can be different depending on things. If you ask that what is the best nation by meta, I'd say the United States is absolutely the top, and there's nothing that can stop it because their air force is just so effective. For their tanks, the Abrams is of course the main dog, and the Abrams doesn't have.
Mic off. Mic on.
If you ask what is the fun for the like the big three, let me finish the last one. Like the best three nations in meta, I think it's the United States and the Soviet Union, and maybe I think China or France. One of the two you can choose if you're more on France's or China's side in that war. If you ask which is the most fun nation, I'd. That's also again that can be any nation. That is basically whatever you think is the most fun for you, what you want to acquire, what you want to see, what you want to play with. Because the US is the most boring nation out of all, but the most effective one. And if you just basically want to play well, then the US is giving you everything you want because you won't be suffering anywhere in particular. You will never be like, oh no, this place, like I don't have anything for this lineup. It's gonna be shit. But and this tank is completely shit. Like in one opinion, there's never that problem. So if you're just looking for genuine fun, then the US is fine. Soviet Union is also fine. The Soviet Union is more on the side that if you want to master every single tank in the tech tree, because they all have weaknesses and strengths which you have to play around, and they balance out each other, which makes them both effective and fun. Germany has the problem that they have some of the most convoluted and retarded vehicles in the game because they have the fucking Jagdtiger, and I hate this thing. Well, I don't hate this thing in like a. No, it should have not been. Okay, this should not have been built ever, but it is a fun concept and it can be very, very laughable because haha, it's so fucking heavy that it literally breaks its own transmission and tracks. by just simply standing in one place. And then it didn't even start. And then there's Panzerjäger Panther, which is also not that good in historical standpoint. But again, Germany can be really fun, especially if you like a challenge, because these will, oh boy, they will give you a challenge. But Germany can be a lot of fun if you like the German Wunderwaffe, and especially their later Leopards, and they have a good set of vehicles, but they are definitely lagging a lot behind other nations. Britain is fun. It's absolutely my main nation, because I don't think Britain has anything. They have big Achilles heels and big advantages, such as getting early stabilizers and APDS, but they have worse armor and they terrible reverse speed, no APHEs, or very rarely. There's like the NA-75 and the Churchill NA-75 and the Sherman 2 that has APHE. You also get to guided missiles early, which is fun. But again, you have a lot of trade-offs and a lot of strengths, which is absolutely something I think makes Britain my favorite nation. But I can see why people don't like it, because they have a lot of vehicles that are like gimmicky or not that. Damn it, to play arcade. You said any arcade, so I'm just gonna go and play a naval arcade, but because I do actually play a lot of naval arcade, and sometimes I play low-tier arcade with planes and tanks. Not tanks. Tanks, I don't like arcade with tanks, because I just don't think it works well with War Thunder's damage model. But planes are absolutely a big fun in lower tiers. If you're like playing at 2.7 or biplane tier and arcade, you're really getting the funny in your veins. So yeah, you can dare me to play arcade, but I want to focus on gameplay right now, or like more on giving out a bit of talk, and then meanwhile I'm playing the game a little bit, because that's how I like to play the game. So yeah, if you really want to see me play arcade, I don't think I will play now, but maybe later or sometime else I can play a bit of arcade, because naval works well with arcade, and especially low tier coastal fleets are incredibly fun in arcade. I do recommend to try and play arcade with boats, because they can be really fun. I don't say that it's a competitive or like, yeah, I can be really skilled and dump everyone down to the bottom of the sea kind of fun, but it's more of a chaotic, laughing, funny. So I do certainly recommend that. There are some things in arcade that are fun. Not everything. I am a realistic player, of course, and I like to play my realistic battles myself. I do also see. I don't like this. There's also simulator game mode in War Thunder, which I like to talk about. That simulator exists, and it should not be viewed necessary at all. I really don't like this. How do I put it? There's a sim community in War Thunder that really likes to ask people to play simulator instead of realistic battles, especially for planes. It's like just play simulator. You will be pain free. I have one huge opinion about simulator. I want to play the game. I want to play with this set of vehicles. I am not interested in actually fighting my own vehicle for control, because a lot of times these are the things that actually decide the outcome of a dogfighting simulator, because if you are like you can't really find your controls for simulator, or you just too aggressive with your plane. But the enemy is a very skilled simulator player, and even maybe has a setup, complete total setup. They will just fucking vibe the floor with you, and even though you were playing your cards accordingly to your plane, you know what your plane strengths are, you played according to them, you had a good advantage. Like, you did play an energy fight against Merlin Spitfire in a Dora and an FE-190 Dora, and you still lost, simply because you lost control for a second. You couldn't maximize your efficiency because you just simply use a mouse, and it's not that compatible. But the Bloodhead used hot-ass controls, and he just literally wiped the floor with you in a Merlin Spitfire. He did manage to not piece off all his energy in 3 seconds. I don't like this map. I don't think I said it before, but I have a huge hatred for the large El Alamein. Especially if it's the battle version with only B point active. There is no game mode more shit than that, because this map just genuinely sucks. You can certainly play this game. I never said that you can. This map is unplayable, it's just not fun, and especially again you can see why it's important to have scouts. We already see those guys, and it's not even a question. If since I have a stabilizer, if I just run up to them, I could kill them, but I can't, because this is fucking the El Alamein. The small El Alamein is fun. I don't have that much problem with the small El Alamein. That's okay, that's completely nice. But out here in the desert, especially in a heavy tank, is just completely cheap. Worst tank from each country, or my least liked tank. That's not. If you ask my least liked tank, I can quickly just beat them out. But like, you have the tank if you want to be opinion on it, man. Like a factual answer, because there are certainly a few tanks that are like, no, don't do it. Do not touch. Do not dare touch. Just completely ignore skill. In every nation, I don't think the US doesn't really have one, but I don't like to. Well, there is no tank in the. There is no tank that I particularly hate with a burning passion, but there is not one that I love with a burning passion. It's alright, but okay. I guess there is the Ariete that I think is the worst tank in the game at this point. Not because it's that bad, but it deserves the title of being the worst tank in the game. It only takes that spot because you have to grind an entire tech tree to get a tank that is completely, like, it's bad in its own tier. So you have wasted an absurd amount of time grinding the Ariete, and even though you like it, it's not worth it. It's not. It can be a fun vehicle, but it's not strong. So you're essentially wasting a lot of resources on getting a tank. I have a plan, or no? That's just a rock. Oh, hello there, my friend. That is that blood is very far. That was heat. I'm almost sure that was heat.
We've been hit. Radiator damage. Armor piercing. Loaded.
The enemy has captured most of the strategic zones. Most of the zones are under enemy's control.
Oh my god, I saw that. The most like the worst Okay, let's instead just focus on your question before I'm getting annihilated here. This is not a good match. It happens. That's the biggest problem with War Thunder, is that you only fucking notice when you have a match where you spawn 3 times and all 3 times you just die. That's in my okay, fine. I'm gonna wait. I'm here. Bye. Yeah, for the VODs, I'm not gonna take your time. He will come back and I'm gonna explain the situation, but not now. But I'm gonna explain it now to who are watching the VOD. France obviously has those tanks hidden in the early tree. Germany has the Panzer 3B, I think. I think it's the Panzer 3B, which has like 15 millimeters of armor and is just completely unusable. Still. To be honest, at least. For the Russians, I suggest the Katyusha, because the Katyusha is the BM-13 is fun. It's an iconic vehicle, except it's completely inefficient. It's like, I can see why you bought it. You had every valid reason to buy it, but it's not gonna be an effective vehicle. From Britain, there are no bad tanks in Britain. You're just bad. Maybe there are some churches that are not that good, but some of them are incredible. So, take it as you might, take it as you will. I do think that the Mark 7 Churchill is my favorite, and Churchill is good. We're having actually a few viewers, which is pretty nice, I guess. I am enjoying doing this. I mean, it's interesting. I have a something that I've been thinking about, and why Hungary was literally so terrible in the Italian tech tree is the Szent István. There is perfectly every reason to put in the Szent István into War Thunder. Like, literally, you have no argument about that.
Artillery strike in your sector.
Yep, I'm dead.
The running gear is out of order.
Of course the street wagon version, because one place Britain.
Running gear out of order. Running gear out of order.
Personally, like, the memes are funny, that War Thunder is just suffering, but I don't like it. That kind of notion in reality. Don't think it is. I don't like the like you can meme around, but if you really believe that War Thunder is just suffering, then you're doing something really wrong. A lot of times I'm having the time of my life in this game, and sometimes it's just not working out. Like the last match, we got a bad map. I have fucked up, and the game was over, and I died. It happens. It's common. it's as common as you have a good match, is it? Well, no, not really, but the good matches don't stick because you're like proud at the moment and like you're smiling, but then you queue into the next one and it's bad. That's why, yeah, that's not good. That's not good if you're thinking like that. If you're thinking like that, you're yeah, especially doing something wrong. I think the biggest thing that I criticize a lot, and I don't want to insult everyone, but like, and I know that it isn't 100% true, and like you should think about the people. No, I'm not gonna think about the people who are only interested in the F14 or the F15 or the F16 or like the top of the top dogs. No, I'm not gonna give a shit about your dumb ass. In the sense that, did you literally just buy a $70 premium as a level 12 player because you're not interested in the P51 fucking Mustang? Am I? Do I have? Do I have hearing problems? That you're not interested in one of the most legendary fighter aircraft ever produced? Because yes, I don't think that the Mustang is the plane that won the war. The Mustang isn't the perfect fighter. It is a plane that has found its niche as a long-range bomber escort with good flight performance that can fight enemy fighters much more efficiently than like a Mosquito or something. But again, this plane is cool. It looks nice. It flies nice. And if you do actually kind of try and learn this thing, then it's gonna be a lot of fun to play with it. I like this plane, especially a D30. I do say that a lot of people think that the D30 is bad and that the C10 is better. I can agree with that. The C10 is the most competitive Mustang, but I do not agree that it's the most fun because the D30 has the best ratio of balance and challenge. It can deal with its threats, but you do need skill, so you actually have to learn it and like actually put in the effort, and you're gonna be fine, and you're gonna love it. I love this thing, not that much the H, but the D is absolutely. I love the D30, and you're not interested in this. 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 In these, the F-86 Saber, you don't know what a Korean War is, you don't know what the Thunderjet is, you're not interested in the F-80, the first production US jet fighter, you're not interested in the F-100, the funny carp looking ass, or sorry, catfish looking ass, and you're not interested in the F-4 Phantom, you're not interested in the Vietnam Eater, you are only interested F-15 or F-14 because the funny the funny the funny actor Tommy said that the F-14 is good, but and it's and like you saw the one movie with your father. You are you really here to play War Thunder? Are you really invested in this game, or you're just didn't manage to find Project Wingman? I am not gonna lie. I do believe that if you don't have you're not a nerd enough. You're not a nerd emoji enough. You're not you're not that much of an aircraft enthusiast enough to even have a slight enthusiasm for planes that are like older planes. Like you don't know what a PF-51 Mustang. This game is not for you, even though you think it is. Even if you want it to be, it's not for you. I am wholeheartedly want the best for you, and I suggest you buy Project Wingman instead of a $70 premium pack, because Project Human is awesome. I also suggest what's the other's name? Ace Combat 7. That's also an awesome game. They are arcade games, of course, but if you are not interested in all of this, you're gonna be fine with an arcade game. You're gonna be completely fine with it. If you really want to play War Thunder, then you may want to I won't say go to the library, because we are living in 2024. Maybe you're watching it in 2025. It doesn't really matter. We are living in the age of the internet. You don't need that much information, and it's not like it is too valid to actually just dog on Wikipedia and all that much. It's enough. You just I did it a lot. If there was like a vehicle that I never really knew about, and I was like, yeah, I have unlocked this thing. What is it? I just looked up the Wikipedia article and it gave me baseline information. I didn't need much more. It was like, oh yeah, that's actually a pretty cool concept. I'm actually behind it. Immediately, that's nice. That's all you have to do. And if you don't want to do that, then you're better off not here. I want you to have fun, and I want you to be here in our community. I'm supportive of it, but I'm not supporting that you actively only enjoy a small niche part of the game out of this whole large thing. It's like only enjoying a single level of Wolfenstein or Doom. You only enjoy this one level with one weapon. You're missing out on the entire game. You are actively just missing out, and you should have just not. You should have found something that is more interesting to you, something that is much more worth it to you, because this is not worth it if you're just up for a top. Weirdly enough, actually, based on the title of this video, I am actually playing more Conqueror than Centurion, which is honestly a bit weird. Because if you think about it, this was about the Centurion, but again, that's just not how things worked out. But that's a little bunch of Centurion. I really like this tank. And I think everyone likes the Centurion. It's like the most beloved tank in the world, because there are no Centurion haters. Genuinely, there is no one who are like, the Centurion is bad, except in For Honor. But that's not about the Centurion we are talking about here. Oh, hello. Maybe you're back. Well, I said that the worst tanks are is the Ariete, because you don't get as much worth for your buck, and then there is the French early tanks are very suffery to get through, especially those that are hidden behind the unlock requirements, like the FCM36, which is absolutely fair move. And then there is the Panzer 3P, which has the 15mm armor all around. It's terrible, everything. When the Japanese with the APHE can penetrate it, you know, I go with the APHE penetrated, then you know that there is something definitely wrong, and it's not the girls on Panzer bias that's wrong. Other than that, there is... don't think Britain really has anything, like, maybe the... I am hesitant to say that I'm hesitant to say that it's the Churchill Mark 1, because the Churchill Mark 1 is definitely not the best, and it's one of the worst Churchills. But the Churchill 7 is incredible, and I don't have much experience in the Churchill 1. But I can see that can be the best candidate for these nations worst. For the US, I think a lot of people dog on one specific tank, and that's the M3 Lee. And I have recently unlocked the M3 Lee because I don't play much USA. But I used to unlock the M3 Lee and I had a lot of fun in it. Maybe it's because I already have a lot of experience with the B1 piece and I'm playing the M3 Lee like the B1 piece and it works. For some reason it does, and I hear a lot of dogging on it, but okay. Church 3 is the worst. Okay, I'm gonna accept that because I don't have much experience with Church 3 either. I think the Church 7 is absolutely nice. It's at 4.7, it's perfectly going in with the Firefly, which is absolutely insanely good. I think the Churchill 7 is just the best Churchill you can find. It's a lot of fun to play. It does certainly need more than one shot to actually take its targets down, but
Armor piercing focus.
yeah, I wouldn't have mind if I got shot down in this position. I would not have minded that at all. If it wasn't for the fucking anti-air, which I really fucking hate, I genuinely, if you ask me which is the tank that I hate the most in the game, that I feel is the one that I hate facing the most or anything, it's the Ju-57, because this thing genuinely is vile. It's just disgusting. It does have good like it has good penetration, high and high rate of fire. And because it's an anti, it's not supposed to fight tanks, and then haha, you're going to play this thing as a fucking tank destroyer. One that is so incredible at being a tank destroyer that it's just a dumb idea to not use it as that, which is disgusting. And that's why I'm really glad that the Afghan is coming, the next bit, because the Afghan is finally getting an anti-air. Wow, that's actually nice. You're not having to deal with an anti-air that has personal that is DID and things that is a tank destroyer, but it is not, and it still succeeds for some fucking reason. Thinking that it should actually be moved down so it faces King Tigers, which it can't penetrate. Haha. That would actually be really fun. But no, they shouldn't. I don't think there is anything they can do about it. Nerf its penetration, but then again, it's not gonna be realistic and everyone is going to throw a tantrum. But that's kind of part of why War Thunder is really good, because they do know when to fucking heat the realism out of the fucking window. Especially because the Conqueror should not have half a meter of penetration, but the only way that the tank can be both realistic and usable and fun is by giving it the funny penetration. If you give it like, because it's still a Generation 1 APDS and they can't do anything about it, the only thing that is not set in stone for the gun and the shell or the tank is that its exact penetration metrics. So Gaijin had one thing to play around with, and they did the best thing they could and just made it funny. It was never supposed to be good, and that's okay. It should not be good. Oh man, fuck you. That's actually good. Oh, hey, how? That wasn't right next to me, and it was only 250 kilograms. That's a bunch of bomb, and especially a bunch of P36 at this VR. Like, VR is 7.7. That's honestly something that's always bothering me in the game. You have the Churchill. No, wait, what? Yeah. Speaking issues. You have in naval. You are playing with World War I era battleships against early jets, because apparently that's how the BRs work there. And when you play the fucking tanks, because no one grinds aircraft, you are facing the P-30s, like F-6Fs and Corsairs and all that shit in the middle of the fucking Cold War. And that is also the immersion problem with the M109, and the M109 can be genuinely just moved up. Why didn't the Gaijin think of it? This is a whole self-read howitzer that only has any use if it can shoot the top of a vehicle, because it can't overpressure the front part of a vehicle. Yeah. So it can only really go for cupola hunting in its own VR, which is not good, but I guess that's there, and okay, it has to be like that, and it should be that way. But if this ruins actively the immersion for the World War II players, then maybe you could just move it up to 7.7 and no one gonna bat an eye, because it's still gonna be as effective or even more effective than it is at, like, down there at 6.7, and or whatever that would be, I do the 6.0 sometimes. I think it's 6.7, I think. No one is going to be angry about it, and I think that's the same thing for, like, the immersion can sometimes save a vehicle from being heated by being good. The ME262 is, I think, the best candidate for that. If you move the ME262 to 6.3, it's only gonna face the best of probs that can most likely actually fight it, but can't outspeed it, and no one's gonna bat an eye because it's historic at least. At least you are having the funny. That did not work, so run the fuck away. That's basically the entire idea. But again, on that note, that's part of the reason why I really want aircraft carriers in naval, especially if we actually move. Now we have a bunch of World War II battleships. We should be able to move forward, and that could actually give a reason for people to actually play smaller ships at higher tiers. I think that could be incredible if we had bigger maps and better working. Basically, the game would be working better in for naval, and we have aircraft carriers that could fix the issue with completely unreasonable close air support in naval, because nothing is an immersion more when the F-84 bombs my 1914 Yamashiro. I bought the Yamashiro because I like that shape, and then it's like, yeah, it can generate a lot of wealth for me, and I use it for that as well, but it's fun. And I like that shape, it's absolutely nice. Holy shit, what the fuck is that?
Target destroyed.
That was the Sherman. Pop goes the Sherman. Not like the Sherman, so that's part of the reason why I am playing the US recently, because I really like the Shermans, and I'm not satisfied with just having the Firefly and the 2 and the few French Shermans, and what else is there? What else do I have? Sorry, German shirt, not available ever, but I wish it was. Anyways, the ME262 could be moved down, and it would at least be historic and like give a challenge to people. It will be like a fun challenge. Like here's the ME262, and we have to dogfight it in a Spitfire, which is even then it's not perfectly historic, but at least the ME262 can work finally without actually being bullied by 1946 jets that are 3 years ahead of time, much more efficient. What the fuck is that thing? That's a P8. Who the fuck brings a P8 at 7.7? Oh yes, I braved a Lancaster because aha, big boom. I don't think gas is disgusting though. Gas is cool and it can be a very efficient thing. Gas's biggest thing in my opinion is that the reason gas is there is because we want some. There needs to be a way to stop this. What I am doing, or what STR-81 is doing there. You need a way to stop. If someone gets into an incredibly good position, you have to have some way to push them out. World of Tanks took that idea with artillery, and that's fine, but they literally decided that they made artillery in the worst fucking way possible. So now everyone hates artillery, and everyone is right about that, because that is a terrible fucking idea to have that type of tank that works like that, because it's an arcade game, and they literally introduced the worst type of mechanics they could to make artillery work instead of something that, like, yes, artillery should, like, if you want to make artillery work, then the I think the best option for that is that the artillery is strong, but artillery is team based. A teammate can actually mark an enemy to be fucked by you, and then you can literally remove them from existence. But if you don't get spotted, you can only use it in direct fire, which is not how it's supposed to be played, and you will get killed if someone penetrates you, and everyone will. That would have been a more healthy way of adding it, but they decided that you should be able to also use the fucking drone view and... Na haló. Balázs vissza. Topolj. The thing is that, yes, and then there is then War Thunder came with close air support, especially because this is primarily a plane game, because that's what was added into the game primarily at first. So I guess it just makes sense to just let them play with tanks as close air support, and the people start to hate because I think that's mostly a skill issue problem. I don't think I ever died to close air support because... And I was like, oh, there was nothing I could do about that. There was probably 3 fucking things I could do differently from very early on, but I decided to not do that because I wanted to risk it. Because if you really hate gas, there's one incredible solution, and that's to use a fighter, but no one does that because... And if you're like a tank only, then you will suffer you will go on to actively suffer from close air support, especially because you don't know, because if you want to... Nagyon jó, menjél húgyozni. If you want to know the weaknesses of close air support, then you have to think like a close air support. The best way to think like a close air support is to experience what it is to be a close air support. And to do that, you have to be a close air support player who is taking it seriously and not a revenge bomber. I do sometimes do revenge bombing because sometimes that's the only enemy left on the map, the guy that killed me. There are maybe 2 or 3 other enemies, but the only one I know any idea about where they are is the one that killed me because I saw him. So I have a genuine idea and I can take them down. It's not really... I don't think that the real revenge bombing isn't the one where you kill someone and then they come back to kill you. The real revenge bombing is the times when they kamikaze into you and just literally face drop the bomb to make sure to kill you, even though that costs them the plane. The plane can be incredible at at exerting pressure on the map. And people misuse it because they decide that, no, I'm just gonna be an asshole because I got gas. You don't see every time you are not the target of gas. You don't see every single time you are the close air support misses. You don't notice every time the close air support gets killed by an anti-air because you only focus on that one time when you get killed by it. And because it's annoying because you never saw that coming. You did not see that coming, but it still came for you when you died. That's the problem. Because you're actually tunnel vision on the ground, you never even look up, or you're fucking pissed to hear the jet engines absolutely roaring in the background, which is insanely loud, especially if you're getting gassed by a Viper. You obviously never position with close air support in mind. Sometimes I don't even position with anything in mind, which is a big problem, which is the primary way to die in War Thunder, is just be retarded and don't position yourself at all. You can also get out of the map and start sniping from the steps. That's why close air support is in the game and will never be removed, because those are the people who need to be punished, and sometimes the tanks have a hard time actually doing that, but the drones have a very easy time punishing someone who literally has nothing around him, and they can just fucking hug ground, drop the... I saw ya! He really just megged up on me, because M4 has a revolver autoloader. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. I believe that Glorious will definitely needs a bit of tuning, because the wrong incentives are given. I don't like top tier gas because everyone just focuses on yeeting missiles at 6 kilometers or like outside the map, especially because the Gamov K-52 exists, which is actually a plane, but it's incredibly toxic in the game. Like it's not fun that you have a lot of missile yeeting helicopters that are just camping on their own spawn, and they just take off, throw the missiles, press control to land, and then rearm, and then back to ship, and they don't even move around the map. There is a G-Link, so it's really fun because it's fast. There are a lot of things that can be really fun with helicopters, but people are just not wanting to use it because there is a much more effective way to grind, and grind is taking everything away. People aren't let play. You don't have to grind every single fucking day, all the time. You can also do other things. You can just have fun. I am both grinding and having fun. That's the main part. What stops you from actually doing that? Nothing, but you still don't have any fun in the game. That's bad. There is someone right... Oh no, the AML-90 died. There's someone right behind that building, and I'm pretty sure he's camping me. No, he's dead. So the biggest problem is not even the gearbox. The gear issues are there. It could be a much higher speed, but I guess 35 is not. It's agile, as I said.
Armor piercing. Loaded.
Yeah, terrible normalization, but there's a way to get actually to that. This is how.
Movement in.
Target destroyed.
Movement in.
That M51 was coming for me from a long mile, and I saw that coming. So that's about that. That's how shit goes down, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I have a bit of a grudge against the M51 because after all, this is literally just a higher tier and better Sherman Firefly, except the problem is that it's not too low of a tier for it to be like. It's just the better Firefly, and it just removes my favorite tank from ever actually noticed. The praise it deserves. The Firefly is cool. I feel like it is very weird that this tank is honestly more effective than others, in the sense that you can bring in the M109 and it sucks. You can bring in the Conway and the Conway sucks because the Conway doesn't have anything. Literally the Conway is just the Conqueror Mark II, but without the good part. Why? Why is that a good idea to have like that? But this one is a cool gun. It has insane overpressure mechanics. It has a incredibly high reload time, which is insane. But at the same time, you need to just take care of that. And if you really need to take care of that any heavily armored enemy, then you have one great vehicle. And that's this one. It's far from I don't.
Target damage.
Miss, but I also hit. That's nice. Actually, I'm gonna take that. Can I actually shoot through this window to kill someone? I can.
Fire!
Yep.
Target damage. Target destroyed.
Eye for an eye. I guess the chat is not working, or oh, it's not active.
Advance!
Just a bit sad. I had a lot of fun talking about anything. That's probably a
Target destroyed.
much bigger of a problem than the other one. You shot. Oh, thank you. Oh my god, Emil.
Let's keep the pressure on. Victory.
Advance! Roger, advancing.
Oh my god, there's so much shit happening. I think I wanna use the fox though. I don't like the fox. It's not a good. Why is everyone so fucking down bad for this fucking Garada shit? I don't like it, and it's a terrible stall grind because what the hell is this? 53mm and 110mm. What does the Ju 57 says about this one? Because I'm pretty sure that it's much better than that. It's like absolutely leagues ahead. Whatever. 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 And you see that and you are like, no. The fox is good. Blood. What do you mean the fox is so good? Yes, maybe if you get the... and then you attack from the sides, but the ZSU-57 is just literally this, but better. If it had, maybe, ATGMs it would be good, but it does not have, so... How about... anything? I don't think at this point I really need anything more in streaming, in the sense that I am doing this as like a little bit of side shit, just dropping a bit of content. How long is the stream actually? I am interested in how long the stream has been going on for 2 hours. Oh, that's nice. We're actually moving somewhere in here. That's nice. I think that is... How about we go one more and then for today it is done. For today I'm gonna end the stream and then maybe come back. Maybe tomorrow, maybe. But tomorrow I'm gonna have to get ready for September 2nd. Holy shit. Well, I guess that actually came. It's fine, it's here. But...
Crew positions.
Ready up. Driver ready. Gunner ready.
Loader ready.
What I wanted to really say that. Very simply. tomorrow's gonna be a stream that's gonna be much more earlier in the time because yeah, September 2 school starts and I am actually taking another I could be finished with school, but I decided that I want to take another. I don't know how to do it, but yeah, I should be over with school, but I'm still going to school because to learn something else that I already have learned, so I will have to attend September 1st. But other than that, I think I'm gonna be pretty free. Unless I will get... Yeah, I will have to work part-time. But... I am still focusing a lot on having... preserving as much of my free time as I possibly can. Because in my opinion, free time is the most important thing. It's the biggest, highest value you can have, because... money is something, but you will only live for a while, and you're only young for a while. That's very important in life. Hola, láttam már is a játékot. So this is gonna be the last match for today, I think. I'm gonna need to take a sleep. Tomorrow's gonna be a short day, or at least in my sense, because I can't stay up for that late. So I still want to do something tonight. Watch something. Watch Atla actually. Anyways. That's not important, but yeah, I want to go do that and then take a go to sleep. And then tomorrow is gonna be a day of immense stress. Even though it should not be, it's still gonna be. It's just gonna be like that. It's always like that. That's literally every time school's about to start. And that was even more severe last time. Because that wasn't even after summer, it was after the fucking winter break, and that's just incredible shit of a feeling, but yeah.
Target destroyed.
Yep, that's about all I can do against them, but that was nice again. Nice enough. Against those things, well, there's actually a very good counter to those things, because it's really easy to shoot the top of the frying pan turret's top with hash, and basically you don't need this tank specifically, but you can use it, and this thing can do the funny. This thing does have the ability to commit atrocities against the Russians, and that's why, yeah, just be sure to use hash and hit the tops of these frying pans, and they all explode nicely. However, I really want to stream actually. Like I really am in the mood to do streams later on. I just it's just really the type of feeling when you're like your life is gonna end type of feeling. It's inevitable to talk about it, but yeah, it's usually when like school is about to start, or like you're up to something very fucking stressful, like an exam or something. You really do kind of feel like I have time until that, and then my life is gonna end, and I'm not gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do after that, or while that, or anything. Yeah, that's about the feeling that I have. I know that we will have a time because it's inevitable that, well, September is gonna start. It's inevitable, and we're gonna come home. That's also mostly inevitable, except if the bus hits me. But let's keep a more level head than that.
We've been hit! Target destroyed!
Still got the gun.
Mission failed.
Well, that match went really terrible, but it was the last. And I mean, it wasn't that terrible. I bullied them a bit. Fun enough. So, for finishing thoughts, I want to keep on streaming every once in a while. Completely randomly. I don't want to keep a schedule. I don't want to keep forcing myself to. You have to stream now because I set up the schedule, or I have some because I don't know what's gonna happen. If I get something, I don't want to disappoint everyone who's been waiting for a stream. Which is why I'm like just gonna drop in maybe a wait time and then completely, but that's also gonna be introduced completely guerrilla. I want to keep my days as free as possible. I don't like to do this. You have to do something because you promise that. You know, sometimes I do promise things and then I'm doing that, but I don't want to knock my hands behind for no reason at all. I think this was, for a first stream, it was nice. It went well. I think. Yeah, it went well. It went well. What I want to add on as closing thoughts is that I will stream and I want to do content, and basically the reason I am streaming instead of cutting videos or something is because this is the purest, this is the easiest version how I can just have something constantly on. I didn't want to focus on being a streamer or doing YouTube lives because I personally don't. That was not the goal of the channel, and I wanted to do some other things, and I also wanted to try to write a novel, but I just simply cannot, especially very interesting in the summertime. I have a hard time setting up times when I'm working on things, and I'm just like, yeah, I am spending this day just completely with War Thunder because why would I not? I'm gonna play with the boys like Balaj, I'm gonna play with Transport, I'm gonna play Transport Fever, I'm gonna play Stormers, I'm gonna play something all day long, and then even in the end I still have some time, let's play something, and I'm gonna play because I like playing games. And then I find myself with that, yeah, I could have also spent that time writing the novel. I could also spend that time making content for the YouTube channel. I could have been doing something like in this creative role, and I decided not to. But the positive part of the school days, because they exist, this positive part is that I lose a sense of price or value for my time So I'm just gonna waste it on whatever. I'm just gonna skip the days, especially the weekdays. That's how I am. Somehow I am. It's weird. Because it's like when it's school days, I come home. I'm like I have 6 hours to do something. I'm gonna spend that 6 hours on something. It doesn't really have to be 6 hours of grinding or just having fun like today. It can be anything. I can just play it on Stormworks because I know that the next day will just be school and then I'm gonna come home and do it anyways. It's weirdly when I don't have to go anywhere in like a free week or free in a holiday or like a free months like summer break or something. I'm valuing my time more because I know that I can use this time for anything, and then I don't have anything to do tomorrow, and I can also use that time. So, but in a few weeks that's gonna end, and for now and today it's like in a day, in 2 days that's gonna end. But that's just gonna mean that I will have uh, more time to spend on other things that are not for just my fun, and also that on like learning. But yeah, that's not really something that I do. I'm just Togyennát. Mondtam, hogy nem lesz gamba ma már, mert megyek a picsába. But now, I guess I said everything I wanted to say. I gave out my final thoughts about everything and how, yeah, they're really streams. Köszönöm, köszönöm. Neked is jó ét. So, whatever it is for y'all, good night, good day. I'm gonna leave for now, and I'll be back when I'll be back. So, bye bye.